So now on BBC Two, it's the first evening of the second week's play. We join Sue Barker for more action from Wimbledon 2004.
Well, welcome back to Wimbledon. The excitement is building here. Fourth round matches on court at the championships today, and the one on centre is the one we've all been looking forward to. Tim Henman taking on Mark Philippoussis, last year's runner-up. You can see they've just come on court, warming up. You'll be able to see that match, or you can see that match now over on BBC One. And it'll be
in the quarter-final. 4 times he's been in the semi-final, and he has lost to the eventual champion all 4 times. He lost to Sampras in '98, Sampras again in '99, Ivanisevic in 2001, and Leighton Hewitt, as I was saying, in 2002. Philippoussis has won his 3 matches here fairly comfortably. Christoph Rockers, the older of the Belgian brothers, in the first round in straight sets. Martin Verkerk, 4-6, 6-3, 7-6, 7-5, and Gonzalez, very fine player, the 24th seed, with no breaks of serve against him in that 3rd round match. Tim's route to the 4th round. Well, it's still cool, could be very different this Wimbledon if Ruben Ramirez Hidalgo had managed to capitalise on 2 set points in the 2nd set of that match. But there was a fine return of serve from Henman that kept him in it, and he was brave on a 2nd serve at 6-all, and that's what winning at this level is all about, narrow margins. Heuberger in the 2nd round in straight sets, and Arazi on People's Sunday. Now, I think the head-to-head is significant between these 2 players. They have a head-to-head which dates all the way back to 1996 in Sydney. Henman won that one. The next 4 went with Philippoussis, including 2 slams. 98 US Open in the 4th round, and 2000 Wimbledon also in the 4th round. So Philippoussis, Boris, knows that he can blast Henman off court.
Absolutely, in the memory that he has beaten him and this very same round a few years back plays on both players' minds. It's something, you know, players don't forget and feel good about if you're playing an opponent you've beaten on the same court in the same situation before.
Kids should be back home from school now. Tea should be on the table or having been eaten, and homework should be done, because the next 2.5 hours or so are going to be quite nerve-wracking, I think. There's certainly a lot of tension in this arena. What a fantastic arena it is as well. I just can't think of an arena that so satisfies the senses, John.
Well, you're so enclosed out on the centre court. The atmosphere is incredible. You feel like, you know, the public are almost right on top of you, and it just has that incredible echo when you hit the ball. It's the greatest centre court, you know, the greatest big match court in the world. With Henman playing, you can imagine what the atmosphere is going to be like.
First set. Mark Philippoussis to serve.
Let the games begin.
Ready, play. Team ball.
The most underestimated part of Tim Henman's game, the return of serve. He wins about 40% of the points when he gets that ball back into play.
Oh, that's a super point. see Henman do that so well, that block return.
15-13.
Now he's got Philippoussis who charged the net, not the quickest up at the net. Philippoussis had to commit himself. Wonderful disguise. First opening here for Henman.
And that's going to be the story of the match. How often henman is able to return the Philippoussis serve, or how many aces Mark is able to hit.
Is that a sharp game, or was it not?
Henman has talked about imposing his game on others over the last few months, and that victory at Paris at the end of last year was when it all started. Then he joined up with Paul Anakin, and he's gone from strength to strength, and that was the way to start a match.
Was certainly warming up quite a while before coming out here, because Mark was serving at 125, 127 miles an hour averaging, and Tim just played it very easily back.
See Delta's in today. Delta Goodrum, formerly of Neighbours, got an album out, Innocent Eyes, #1 in Australia. Being escorted around town by Philippoussis at the moment.
Very first ace of the match, not by Philippoussis, but by Henman.
Nick Philippoussis, Mark's dad. With the honor today, Eric Milana, Spanish.
This time he stayed back on the second serve, just mixing up his serving strategy, which I think is very important. Otherwise, Mark is going to get into a rhythm. So that's something he has to stay with it throughout the whole match.
Henman leads by 2 games to love.
The feeling coming into this match was that Tim Henman would have to find a higher gear than in his 3 previous matches. That Philippoussis was not so much of a hurdle as a real obstacle, possibly a mountain to climb. It's been a good start.
15 love. Love. Love.
Beautiful backhand volley here by Philippoussis. Gives him game points.
Again, Philippoussis. And leads by 2 games to 1 per set.
So 13,800 people here in centre court enjoying some sunshine, approaching 10 to 6 in the evening. And over at the Orangi Park Picnic Terrace, otherwise known as Henman Hill for these 2 weeks, we'll say a very good afternoon, everybody. I hope the day has treated you well. A show of hands for Henman supporters, if you wouldn't mind. Are there any Australians down there? Well, they've beaten us at rugby recently, but we remain world champions of that. And Henman favoured marginally coming into this match with Philippoussis, Boris?
I would put the chance at 50-50 beforehand, because Mark is a veteran in Wimbledon as well. You know, he's done in a way better than Tim has, reaching the final last year. And Mark seems to like the Henman serve. He's going to get a crack at it, not yet, but eventually. On the other hand, you know, Tim is for the 9th consecutive year in the 2nd week of this championship, and he likes to play at this tournament very much.
Lot 15.
You could see when he went to hit this, actually took his eye off that a little bit, but Philippoussis was already moving in behind the return. He's done his homework there. He knows that that's a shot that Henman likes to use a lot, that drop volley.
On this first serve, Tim decided to stay back, even though it went in, so that's another difference to what I've seen him play last week.
$40-15. Henman leads by 3-1.
Well, that was just a good example of how many different ways he can serve. You know, he was serving volleying on the second serve here. He was staying back on the first one. I think that's part of the game plan of Tim Henman.
Love 15.
There are other arenas and other crowds around the world where if somebody is playing the home hero, there would have been huge amounts of cheers and great bellowing of delight. Not here. That's good.
Love 13.
Of low ball tosses on particularly the first serve from Philippoussis in this game.
Love 14.
Don't often see this.
And he's not likely to take the pace off either the first or the second serve if it's required here. Not a whole game of double faults, surely. 3 break points.
Henman leads by 4-1. First set.
Well, coming into this match, in the first 3 matches, Philippoussis had lost his serve just twice. Both of them were to Martin Verkerk, the former French Open finalist in the second round. No wonder Lucy's smiling, because Philippoussis has lost 2 of his first 3 service games. That's unheard of, really, for him.
Well, he's shaken up after that first service game. That was the message that was sent by Henman there, and you could see how much he's trying to force the serve Philippoussis. The Henman return is such a threat at the moment. He's lost his focus a little bit here. Well, you can see that Henman is just getting the ball back, and that's the strength of Henman, an underrated part of his game. And he's not serve volleying Henman as much as we've been saying that he needs to. But in this type of match, I don't think he needs to against Philippoussis, because of the mobility of Philippoussis on the back. He can maneuver him around Henman when he gets the chance in the rally.
And another big difference at the beginning of the match, I believe, is that Mark Philippoussis has never played on the center court this year yet. And the atmosphere, the ball bounce, the whole thing is totally different if you play on court number 1, 2, or in center court, where Tim had the advantage of playing already 2 times. And I think it shows, especially at the beginning of a match, when you're not used to the environment.
So this set should be okay for Henman, but we know Tim a little better than that.
About the first return that Philippoussis has hit that hasn't been at
15 long.
shoulder height for Henman, which has been just easy, and Henman dealt with that half volley very well.
That expression won't change. Former top 10 player himself, Paul Anikan.
Full to your 13.
Well, we are staying with the tennis. BBC News is about to start on BBC Two. Digital viewers outside London should press TV and button 2 for their regional headlines.
Henman leads by 5 games to 1.
So, 6 o'clock. The news is over on BBC Two. 6 games played here on centre court, and all under control as far as the English icon is concerned. Henman with a comfortable lead at 5-1.
Love.
That was the first easy mistake, if you can say that, on the return by Henman in the whole set. Again, here the secret was hitting this return back, getting Mark out of spots, a space at his net, and having an easy passing shots after.
Let second service.
Very lucky to get away with this one. Out of position there.
Full 2-15.
What I find amazing so far in this first set is that Mark Philippoussis hasn't hit an ace yet. And he's known to average about 25 or 30 in any match he plays.
Game, Philippoussis. New breaks, please. Henman leads by 5 games to 2. First set.
Well, where does this belief come from, this self-belief that Henman is exhibiting out here? I mean, he certainly has upped his game. He looks in complete control. I mean, one of the places it came from perhaps is Roland Garros. He had never made a quarter-final at Grand Slam level anywhere but Wimbledon before that French Open. He was down against Cyril Saunier in the first round. He was down against Lodger as well. Match points. Came through to the semi-final, and at Queen's Club, losing to Carol Beck. Didn't really want to be there, did he? Didn't really want to be playing. He needed to decompress, and he took a few days off. And now, I'd never seen Tim look so controlled. This looks very good for his chances.
Well, what he's done, he's really neutralising the sort of the power of Philippoussis. And when Philippoussis is returning serve, and we've seen an example when Henman holds on this point here, Philippoussis is standing quite a ways back. He likes to give this ball a big thump, but when he's that far back, he lends himself into problems here because Henman's got so much touch. Unless he hits a clean winner, he's vulnerable to that type of drop volley, and Henman knows that, and he's prepared to take that chance.
Plus, Philippoussis has a very big and heavy body, you know, 6'5" almost. So moving in general is not his forte.
With new tennis balls, Henman serving for the first set.
15 love.
The expression Tim has throughout this past 23 minutes, very, very calm, very in control. Seems like he knows exactly what he had to do. He sat down with Paul Anacon before the match, like before any match, but it seems to be working to 100% perfection.
40 love. Oh, and that's a henman. 6 games to 2.
Now, we sat here about a year ago watching Federer play. Was it the semi or the final? And I saw a half volley whipped forehand, just like this from Federer, and we all purred. Well, this is right up there in the same league.
Purr again after that shot. That was magnificent. What a set that was, though, from henman. I mean, he was in total control there. And the worrying part, as Boris said, Mark Philippoussis not serving an ace, which what that means is that henman is reading the serve. I mean, and you can see first service points won from him, 91%, 67%. henman's winning on his second serve. In his match against Arazi in the third set, he was down at about 35%. And look at Philippoussis, they're only winning 55% on his first service points, 43 on his second. henman is dissecting the Philippoussis serve at the moment.
Another small difference to the forehand half volley was Federer hit it in the final of the championship.
That's right.
And Tim hit it in the 4th round. So hopefully the way he's been playing
Second set
is looking very promising. Interesting body paint.
Seems to have so much time at the moment on the return to serve henman, and that is very unusual when you're up against the Philippoussis serve.
It's only 106 mile an hour second serve. It's not big for this Australian.
That may be because he served 3 double faults in a row and he's a bit nervous about his serve at the moment.
It's a bit embarrassing.
Probably not used to the fact that he has to volley that many times, even though he comes up with big serves.
Had to hit this one close to the 9. I saw henman taking off there. I knew if he didn't get close to the line, henman would have been on that one.
Game, Philippoussis. First game, second set.
Strange old year for Philippoussis. He wins the final point at the end of the year, November, Davis Cup final against Spain. Wins the final point by beating Juan Carlos Ferrero, no less, 6-love in the fifth. Since then, he's only won 8 matches, and 3 of them were in the World Team Cup, which is not quite the same. The Aussie presser on him again. I mean, he played that whole Davis Cup campaign last year, and still they criticise him. I'm not surprised that he's slightly hurt by that.
That still doesn't mean that you have to lose the rest of the year.
That's right.
Love. Henman. 3 against all.
Thought he was back on the clay of Roland Garros there, swapping groundies with some Spaniard.
But there are so many times, there's been so many times this match already where Henman has made Philippoussis look so slow. I mean, around the baseline, he just at the moment, he can't get into these rallies, Philippoussis. He can't hurt Henman at the moment.
15-love.
That's the only way. Just got to hang on to his serve. And I hope that Henman falls down from the level that he's playing at.
And that's number 6 already, and it's only in the second set. Now he's known to serve a lot of double faults because he really takes his chances. This is nothing unusual. That doesn't mean he's nervous or anything. He does serve a lot of double faults in any match.
He's already had 15-30 in 2 other Philippoussis service games this set and has failed to break. He's got 15-30 again, Henman.
Good point here by Mark. He read what Tim was trying to do, and he caught him off guard. Well, he's holding on. He's in trouble, but he keeps coming up with the big ones at the right times.
Game, Philippoussis. Philippoussis leads by 4 games to 3.
So just a reminder, the news for your area is on BBC 2 now. Digital viewers outside London should press TV and button 2 for their regional programme. At BBC 1, we are staying right here on Centre Court.
And Centre Court is where Tim Henman was born to play. He really was, since he was a little kid. Came here to watch Bjorn Borg play in company of his mum, Jane. This has been the place where he was Well, thinking about really and just imagining when he was practicing, and actually for charity, one of the many charities he supports, he auctioned off a game of tennis with himself here with permission of the All England Club, and it was bought for £25,000 by Stephen Marks. Playing tennis against Henman on this court, not easy. Philippoussis is having a nightmare today. He might wish for the rain to come, but it's not going to save him. But Henman hasn't broken yet, Boris.
And that's the thing that matters at that moment. He shouldn't think about the first set. He didn't have a chance in the world, but the second set, fair and square, no breaks of serve. Yes, Tim is playing great. He's had his chances, even though he didn't have a break point. But Mark came up with the aces and the winners when he needed them. And this match is very much even again.
Well,
Philippoussis didn't like that one.
Jeff Richard there, and Laurie Pinion, doyen of tennis writers, in front of him now. 30-all, 4-all in the second set.
What a color his jacket had.
40-30.
That was a pressure serve there. 4-all, 30-all. Needed that ace. Just not used to having these type of serves coming at him. He's used to a lot more free points, Philippoussis, than he's getting today from Henman. He's so sharp on the return of serve.
Advantage Philippoussis.
Oh.
Well, he knew where that forehand volley was going and chased it down with his racket up in front. And that's not even a full swing. Great control. Back to deuce.
Please.
Now hold on a second. Let's have a look at that one. No overrule from the chair. And if it was out, there would have been a beam. There's a beam that goes across.
I've got the yellow light as well. Cyclops called it good.
Cyclops called it good, says Eric. Well,
Hawkeye had another idea about it.
there's a technology fight going on between Cyclops and Hawkeye. But the point is, it's advantage Philippoussis.
Philippoussis leads by 5 games to 4. Second set for Sepp Henman.
Oh, Henman was actually eyeing up the Cyclops machine there, and I can understand why. It's not the whole set resting on that, but he had Philippoussis under pressure.
Well, when you fight that hard, as Henman has done, he's had 15-33 times. He gets to juice, and then he's served like that, which was a double fault, not given to him. You know, that is a huge. He'd be serving for the set right now. I mean, that's how this game can change this quickly. And Henman, he's been around enough times now. He's got to throw that game away and forget about that point. It's easier said than done. But
it was
that's
juice,
what he's
not
got
a
to do.
break point.
Well, but that would have given him break point.
Yeah.
That's right. Which okay, he may not have won that, but psychologically, that's a huge point.
And Philippoussis is hanging on.
I mean, all credit to Mark. He doesn't really have a chance yet. He's up 5-4 in the second serve, and
Time.
yes, Tim is playing on top of his potential, but just a lapse of concentration, just a backdoor here or there, and this second set could go to Mark Philippoussis, and we're fair and square. That's the beauty or the brutality of grass court tennis.
So serving to stay in the second set now, Henman.
Let for service.
He wants to see all of the balls.
Love.
Aces for Philippoussis, and they're all coming in this second set.
Thirty 15.
Perfect racket head control here from Henman. You can see such early take back there. He had so many options. Could have gone down the line, which is where Philippoussis picked, cross court or the top spin lob. Oh, that is just first class.
Well, he has not failed to convert a breakpoint opportunity, and here's one at an important moment. 30-40.
Philippoussis is saying it's wide on the line.
6 games to 5.
No overall. The score has been called, and Philippoussis can argue all he likes, but that's a break. I must say,
It's on the baseline, but wide.
well, It was on the baseline but wide, says Philippoussis. I thought it was surprising that he left the ball in the first place.
Well, he may have a point there.
He may well have a point.
But no chance that the umpire can overrule that. Let's see what Hawkeye suggests. He suggests that Philippoussis was correct there in his assessment, that you cannot possibly overrule that. You cannot.
No,
there is no ball mark going to be left on the grass court.
It's a long way away from the umpire.
Farthest line. Can't overrule that.
And that's even a difficult ball for linesman to call, because it's chalk. It's right at the corner of the baseline. On the other hand, he should have volleyed that backhand, because that was a make of the ball.
It was Henman who got a bad call a couple of games earlier on the Philippoussis serve, and he got a good one there. He's serving for a 2-set lead.
He starts the game with his 9th ace of the match.
Game in the second set, henman. 7 games to 5. Henman leads by 2 sets to love.
Well, let the good times roll. Henman in command at 2 sets to love. Time to wrap yourselves in the flag and declare yourself a Henman fan. Everything seems to be all right here. What would you say to Philippoussis?
Well, he has got to. There's only one way Philippoussis can play, and that's just swing him from the hip as he does. He's just got to keep doing that and hope Henman's level drop. At the moment, Henman, we talked about the first week, Henman was not very impressive. I mean, there were times in the first week where he's looked very average. Today, his level has jumped. Now he's playing with the big boys, and he has gone up a level today.
First serve points won on the left-hand side, 100%. So when he gets his first serve in, Henman, he wins the point every single time.
He has not lost a single point on his serve in this entire second set. Now you're talking first and second serves, and with that statistics, it's going to be a very difficult uphill battle for Mark Philippoussis.
It's the combination of a lot of hard work, but it really seems to have come together. If you don't have to play your best tennis, then don't play it. In his first 3 matches, in control just about, and a bit of a scare against Ruben Ramirez Hidalgo, who I have to say I knew nothing about in the first round, but he almost took a 2-set lead against Henman. Then it was Hoiberger and Arazi.
And another thing we forget sometimes is that this sends a clear message into the locker room that here, second week, around the 16, and Tim is sending the signals out that he's ready to rumble.
Andy Roddick and Roger Federer are the only 2 players with a higher seeding and higher ranking than Tim left in the tournament. And I might just say that those two gentlemen have won the other Grand Slams that aren't played on clay: US Open, Australian Open, and the reigning Wimbledon champion Federer.
Oh. I mean, that is a frightening shot.
We're seeing a player in the zone here.
30-15.
Philippoussis cannot hit that any deeper, any firmer than that. Oh, and a flick. No backswing. Incredible.
40-15.
Got some courtcraft, Henman, hasn't he? Philippoussis has got some brutality, though. It's 40-15, his first game, third set.
Again, Philippoussis. First game, third set.
Well, let's enjoy that racket work taken from that game on the backhand side.
Oh, this is the point here. Philippoussis comes in here. He's in pole position here. He thinks this point is won. Worst he can expect maybe is a lob. Does not expect that. And there, that is that racket head work there, and that flick just changed his mind at the last minute. Philippoussis didn't have any clue where that was going.
From the squash court straight to centre court, that one.
That would have been the first point he's won on the henman serve for a while. But he was going for too much, even though the return was good. The passing shot was hit too hard.
Well, we haven't seen many passing shots from Philippoussis. In fact, that's the first one. That's why we haven't seen too many of them. That was a great backhand.
(30-15).
Oh.
40-15.
This was a bit like a Sampras volley, below the level of the net, and he just sort of hits a semi-topspin on it.
Game. Henman. One game all.
Players talk about the zone, about reaching a state where the whole game has become instinct. It's about mindless concentration. And that's where Henman is at the moment. He is totally at one with this court and totally at one with his own game. And he's completely dominating the man they're shouting for. Just had a call from Alan Mills.